G'day there guys, it's your Aussie Hubby Markee, back at it again with another episode of r/EntitledParents. Now if you hate Karen like I hate Karen, then you know what to do. Smash a like on this video, chuck a prawn on the Barbie, sit back, relax and enjoy the quality content. Posted by user Faco5045, titled, Entitled Mother Snatches a Toy from a Paraplegic Kid's Hands. Context. This happened in December 2018. I help a local NGO giving kids that are in special care homes and hospitals gifts during Christmas time. We get a lot of presents, which is nice, and sometimes people are very generous and buy pretty expensive and giant toys. This is not that nice. Now don't get me wrong, I love people that want to help, but when we get these awesome toys, we know it will be a problem with the kids because they would get jealous when someone gets something better. Giveaways are normally done in a Christmas party or event, so everyone sees what everyone gets. As a save measure, we decided that the best toys would be given in raffles before we give the rest, so that anyone has the chance to get them. This prevents most problems. Most. The main story. We were in this small pediatric hospital with about 25 to 30 kids in our party, and had just ended the raffles segment. A 10-year-old kid we will call Charles had won an enormous Lego set, a pirate ship of some sort if I remember correctly, which was roughly his own size. It was funny seeing him carry it on his lap. As you may have guessed by the title, Charles was a wheelchair user because he could not move his legs. Then our really totally not fake Santa came and gave away the other kids their presents, which are randomly distributed, only taking age and gender into account. Charles and the other winners didn't receive another one, just to make it clear. Kids were starting to play with their toys with us volunteers and their parents watching. Then Karen appeared. She approached Charles and started talking to him. By the face he was making, it was obvious the poor kid was scared, and with his mum nowhere in sight, I decided to intervene. Consider I am a 26-year-old guy with full beard, dressed in an elf leotard. Very intimidating indeed. I say, hello miss, what can I help you with? Oh, nothing sweetie, just talking to the little one here. Are you his mum? Oh no, thank God no. I'm internally like, oh, this bear. My beautiful Tyler is over there. Oh, cute. And I say to Charles, so what is this gentle lady speaking to you about, kiddo? She wants my toy. Sorry? Oh no, it's not what you think. I was trying to trade with him. See, my poor kid got this Superman. A very average plastic action figure, but he's not that into superheroes, yet he loves Legos. So I thought, why not trade them? You like superheroes, don't you? Not really. But all boys love superheroes. You just said your boy didn't, what the hell, Karen? Well, miss, this is Charles' toy, but I think we have some others left in the bag. We can go check if you like. That's awesome. Do you have another Lego set? Not really. This one was a special surprise. But maybe your kid would like a car, a ball, or other action figure. Then thanks but no thanks. I will take this one. And she tries to take the box, but Charles wheels himself backwards and is now hugging it tightly. Oh, you little... Stop it, miss. It's obvious he doesn't want to trade it, and he won it fairly. Who cares? He can't even play with it, look at him. I see he can use his hands, so stay back. And I put myself in the middle of them. She makes this weird high-pitched sound, and is like, I don't care what you say. My boy deserves it more. He's not some useless, crippled, actual words. She pushes me aside, and before I can react, she rips off the box from Charles' arms and starts running. Thankfully for us, Santa Claus is coming to town. Our real, totally not fake Santa is able to intercept her. Her shouts had alerted him about what was happening, and he came to check on us. He's like, what's happening, madam? Your employee was trying to steal my boy's toy. Apparently she forgot Santa was the one who gave the presents in the first place. I'm pretty sure that Lego set belongs to the wheelchair kid that is crying over there. For all I care, you are no one to tell me what my kid deserves as a present, and you are no one to stop me from getting it. Actually, I'm pretty sure I am. Let me present myself. I am Dr. Nicholas Saint. Name changed for privacy. Head pediatrician and manager of this hospital. Unless you want to be kicked out of the premises, you will give that toy back immediately. Who would say? Our real, totally not fake Santa was actually a fake, and he was also an actual manager. What a Christmas miracle for poor Karen. The woman was basically paralyzed, so Santa took the toy and returned it to Charles. "Where's your mum, kid?" "My dad, he is in the other building, filling in some papers, I think." "Well, while he comes back, our bearded elf friend here, that's me, is going to take care of you, yes?" "Yes, Dr. Santa." I think he had partially heard what the doctor said to Karen. "Perfect. Now for you," speaking to Karen, "you are in the naughty list. Come with me. I'm sure our social services office would love to hear about this incident about a woman attacking a child." "What? Please no." The two left the room with Karen crying like a spoiled kid. I took care of Charles until his father arrived and told him what happened. He thanked me in return, and then we all could enjoy the party. On a side note, I had the chance to meet Tyler, Karen's kid. He was mad about his mother trying to trade as Superman, which she had thrown into the floor before leaving. As far as I could see, he really liked superheroes after all. Thank you all for reading. Posted by user Vishan, titled, "My sister tried to steal my cat. My mother warns me. I see red." This happened almost 5 years ago, and I still seethe with anger whenever I think back on it. Before I start the story, let me give a little background. I have a cat named Oliver. Oliver is a strange cat. He doesn't really meow, and he tends to make these odd quaking sounds. Mrez and mez. When he does make sounds, you know he wants something, or he's happy that you are awake. It makes you feel honored when he does talk to you. I have 2 much younger sisters from my mother's second marriage. The sister in this story I'll name Anne. She's been spoiled, sheltered, and coddled by my mother for her then 27-year life. My stepdad wanted her to try living away from home, and so they approached me to have her stay with me and spread her wings. She lasted 2 weeks before she demanded to move back home. My mum and stepdad agreed to pick her up, but it would have to wait a week. As the week passed, my sister kept making all these comments in regards to Oliver. "Why doesn't he talk? What's wrong with your cat? Damn it, Oliver, talk already." She progressively got angrier with Oliver and complained about how she can't make him talk. I kept telling her that he's not a verbal cat and that he'll talk when he wants to. She'd manhandle him and get mad. I snapped at her one day and asked her why she's so determined to get Oliver to talk. Well, my cat did and she was happy. Clearly Oliver isn't happy and that's why he doesn't talk. Preposterous. Oliver is a very happy and absolutely spoiled fluffball. She'd only known him a little over 2 weeks. Her logic was flawed. Fast forward a few days to the night before my sister was getting picked up. My mother called me to go over the move and some other details in regards to my stepdad being here. Near the end of the call, my mother pauses and says, "Your sister is going to try and take Oliver." Me being confused says, "Wait, why?" She's convinced that he's unhappy and that he needs a big yard to play in. Me getting angry says, "He's terrified of the outdoors. He literally cries and hides if he's taken out of the apartment. She knows nothing about him or how happy he is. What the hell?" I told her to knock it off, and don't even think about doing anything of the sort. I met Oliver, he's clearly happy and loves his home. Me seeing red says, "You get her out of my home as soon as possible. I'm serious. I can't account for my action if she tries anything with Oliver. She's not welcome here ever again. If she calls you tonight, I want you to tell her that I'm aware and she needs to focus on getting out of my sight." I understand, and I'll tell her. We finished up our conversation and said good night. The next day, my stepdad showed up to move my sister home. I put Oliver in the bathroom and kept an eagle on my sister. When we were saying our goodbyes, she had the audacity to tell me, not asked, that Oliver would be happier with her and in the big yard that they have. I got angry all over again and turned to my stepdad and said, "You need to get her out of here before I start yelling." And he did exactly that. She kept insisting on coming back for Oliver, and he silently pushed her into the hallway. My mother later told me that Anne kept bad-mouthing me and demanded that they take him away. My mum had to put her foot down and say something along the lines of, "How would you feel if someone stole your cat?" This hit home, since my sister had lost a cat a little over a year before. I haven't talked to my sister since, and she's still living at home at 32 years old. Oliver is doing great. He's the best cat, and I love his little quacks. I started dating my boyfriend shortly after this incident, and he adores Oliver as much as I do. He spoils the furball to no end. We are constantly surprised at the new shenanigans Oliver gets into. We're pretty sure that he watches cute cat videos while we're sleeping to learn new tricks. I'll include a link to an Imgur album I made ages back of Oliver's pictures. Posted by user My Toddler Can't Eat. Titled, Entitled Mother Tries to Stop a Child from Getting Surgery. So this was on my B-Day last year. I'm on mobile and can't spell for crap. Our cast are me, who do you think? SO, significant other, OD, me and significant other's oldest. CS, chill son, the middle child. T is our toddler, the one who is having surgery. EM is entitled mum, EK entitled kid, and all the nurses and doctors. So me and significant other were bringing our kids to the hospital for T's surgery, which is a feeding tube change. We went in to check in and did all the stuff that you have to do. As luck would have it, the check-in was next to the emergency response, and there she stood, entitled mother, screaming at the desk. My child needs to be admitted now. As we worked through the emergency response to the operating room, entitled kid grabbed the shoulder of toddler and entitled mother started berating me, saying, "Why are you going first? I have an appointment. Let my child go before you. You don't need." My toddler screams in pain. CS and OD start telling at EK, entitled kid has pulled out the toddler's tube when I wasn't watching. Entitled mother says, "You monster, your children are..." So I cut her off and say, "Ma'am, we're here for surgery. Please let us go to the operating room." Entitled mother grunts, "Whatever." And I say, "What are you here for? If it's urgent, then the nurses can get you admitted very quickly. My poor baby has a stuffy nose." I didn't see the rest of that, thank God. Posted by user NellyJelly155, titled, Entitled Families Spray Autistic Children with a Hose. So this happened around 7 years ago, I think. I believe I was about 13 at the time. It was the summer holidays, and me and my family were at my mum's friend's house. I was outside with the kids, playing with them. One thing I should say is that my mum's friend's child is quite autistic. He doesn't talk, and when he does, it's rather limited, and he makes a lot of loud noises to express himself, some that people who don't understand may view as odd. My brother, who is also autistic, acts in a very similar way to this. So on to the story. We were all playing in the garden, and the child in question, O, was making some rather loud noises, as he usually does. He was just expressing how happy and excited he was. No big deal, right? Well, apparently, the neighbors really hated that this innocent child was disturbing their peace, and before we knew it, we were all soaked from a hose that the neighbors had turned on and held over the fence. Naturally, O started crying loudly as he was confused, and suddenly soaking wet, and as was my brother. Both our parents came running out to see what was happening, and once I told them what was going on, our dad stormed out of the house and banged on the neighbors' front doors, absolutely fuming. Our mothers got the kids calmed down with some snacks, and got them changed and dried off before letting them out in the garden again. By this point, they were fine and were back to their happy selves. Unfortunately, no charges were pressed against the neighbors, but thankfully it was the first and last time they did anything like that again. Posted by user DaxArian, titled, Entitled Karen Screams for Not Getting as much discount as she wanted from my loyalty card. This story is 5 years old, and I was a 19-year-old who was still in college. There is a bookstore about 5 kilometers from my home that I was a frequent visitor of. They had a loyalty program, and I had this particular VIP gold card that gave me massive discounts of about 25 to 40% per book. Now, this is an exclusive card, which is probably owned by about 200 individuals in the whole state. My grandfather had a few stores in town, and we rented our place to this chain during their initial years without much mortgage or rent, and this was a gift from them. I am also well known to the people in the store, as I used to go out on the weekends during my school days to help them stack and arrange new books and everything. I used to love being there, so I am a familiar face and has never once actually displayed the card in the counter. Everyone just searched my name and gets the card number in the bill for me. This one fine day, I was in the store searching for books, and I spot this lady, her husband, and her son in the store. They appeared new to the store as they asked me where they can find the children's books section. I liked the kid as he grabbed this particular book called Wings of Fire by Abdul Kalam, a man I truly admire and respect. His mum, who actually had taken a lot of books already, said he can't have that book as that'd make it too costly. Now this is probably a $3 book and it would come cheaper with my discounts, so I politely asked the husband if it's okay that I gift him this book. The husband must have felt bad, probably, but after I insisted, he said I could gift their child the book. As the billing section, I had the book billed separately, and the family noticed how there was a massive discount on my bill. They asked the cashier, and they said about my membership. The father opted to get an entry-level card, which offered them some store credits or something, but the mum wasn't satisfied with this. Told me, not ask, not politely, to use the gold card for her books. I think I was kind of a pushover back then. Just ask them to bill it under my name. Also, I'm not losing anything here, right? Yeah, self-respect wasn't something I was truly aware of back then. Apparently, this woman had picked up a lot of magazines, and they weren't included in this discount category. She started saying how my card was a scam and useless, and how I wasted their time. I did not know what to say, as they were getting a really good discount on the other books, which they wouldn't have gotten with a year's worth credit. But nah, this woman was eating me up alive there. The manager at the store was cold, and he, someone I have known for years, asked if there was some reason for me to stay here. It was difficult for me to explain the story with the yelling Karen maid, and the security got involved. I somehow managed to give the embarrassed child the book, and the husband did thank me. I had met this man a couple years later, and we acknowledged each other. The question that always pops in, how are people so confident of themselves that they go ahead and create an unwanted scene, or should I use shameless? Don't know. Posted by user Deranged Behemoth, titled, Entitled Mother Calls the Police on Me for Stealing Her Daughter, who is my girlfriend, and an adult. Sorry this is long, but I hope those of you who read it will enjoy it. Background. This happened about 5 years ago. My fiancé and I have been together 7 years about this month. We were hoping to get married this year, but might postpone due to the circumstances. We were reminiscing some old stories yesterday when this one came up, and she suggested I share it. She was my girlfriend at the time, and at the time I was fully aware that her mum was a few fries short of a Happy Meal, but this was the pinnacle of her behavior. If you guys enjoy the story, I actually have a few more I shall share if you like. Sorry for the length, but I hope you guys enjoy it. FYI, there's a happy ending. Haha, title of your sex tape, that entire sentence. Cast. Entitled Mum, my future mother-in-law. Girlfriend is Ellie. PO, police officer, and me. Story. Ellie and I weren't living together at the time. She just stayed over from time to time when she could. I took her home after she had been staying with me a couple days and was heading to work. But shortly after, just before getting to work, I get a call from her and I can tell she is in tears. Apparently when she got inside, Entitled Mother immediately blew up on her about being gone for so long, even though it was only 2 days, and she told Entitled Mother she was going to be gone and kept in contact with her while she was gone. But Ellie just sort of brushed it off and went to her room. Entitled Mother's house was pretty much your stereotypical crazy cat lady house. House badly decaying, cats all over the place, going to the bathroom in random places and whatnot. And when Ellie gets to her room, she realizes while she was gone, the cats pissed and crapped all over a pile of her clean clothes. But whatever, Ellie decided to just bag them up and she would wash them the next time she came to my place. Her mum didn't have a functioning washer at the time, and apparently that really set Entitled Mother off. Entitled Mother apparently thought Ellie was bagging her clothes because she was planning to go back to my place that night and stay another few days. So she stomped into her room, grabbed the bag, ripped it open, and flung the clothes all over the room with a cat crap and pee while screaming at Ellie that she's not going anywhere. That's when Ellie ran outside and called me. She was so upset and didn't know what to do. Her mum had been doing crazy stuff to Ellie ever since I'd been with her, But up until I just helped her, however, I could not while getting involved and not saying a word to her mum. I told her to go ahead and get the things she needs and I'll take her to my place. She said she would love that. I told my work I was going to be late due to an emergency and turned around to go pick her up. When I pulled back up to the house, Ellie was in the driveway crying. I went and hugged her, told her that it was going to be okay and that she could stay with me as long as she wanted. So she went back inside to get her things. As I was standing outside waiting, I heard the door open again, and I went to help Ellie with her things. Uh-oh, it's her mum. Entitled Mum comes stomping out with her hair crazy and frizzled and an old nightgown. She beelines for me and gets right in my face. Entitled Mother, with an extremely thick, high-pitched southern accent, says, "My daughter said I need to come out here and ask what you think of me." I knew that was a blatant lie, and Ellie would never instigate this. "You got something to say, huh? You think I'm trash, don't you, huh? That's what you think, isn't it?" Again, up until now, I'd completely kept my mouth shut, and was trying to maintain that. But this woman was up in my face, freaking out, and was tormenting the woman that I loved. So I finally looked at her and broke my silence. "Why do you treat her like this?" "What do you mean? That's my daughter, and I worship the ground she walks on." "Oh, really? So calling her a tramp, beer, expletive, and a tramp is worship?" Censored for brevity's sake. Yes, I've heard her say this with my own 2 ears. "I would never say anything like that." I'm getting rather irate, and I say, "Bullcrap! I've heard you say it." There's an explosion that takes place, and she says, "You get your fudging ass off my property." Okay, I almost never find myself in situations like this, so I'm not used to it. I say that because after she said this, I pretty much saw red. I'm not proud of it, but I just started shouting every curse word in the book I could possibly think of at the top of my lungs while she went back into the house. But thankfully, that only lasted a few seconds, and I immediately calmed down. So finally, Ellie comes back out with her stuff. We put it in the car, and I assume that it's over. But Ellie turns to me and says, "I'm sorry, but we can't leave yet." "Why not?" "Mum called the cops." I sort of had a feeling that would happen. No big deal. So we just sat and waited for the cops to arrive. After about 10 minutes or so, a cop car pulls up. Right when he does, Entitled Mother comes out of the house, and oh my god, yes, she was doing exactly what you would think. She instantly puts on the fragile, brittle old lady act, hunched over, walking slowly the whole gig. And of course, when the police officer asks her what happened, she has to pitch her entire medical chart to the guy. Ellie will tell you this woman has been terminally ill for 12 years. Lol? So when she finally gets done trying to milk this poor guy for sympathy, she tells her version of what happened. "Sir, he came onto my property and verbally attacked me. He's awful to me, sir, and I've never done anything to him. He turned to my daughter against me and is trying to convince her to leave." At first he seemed somewhat sympathetic to her until he turns to Ellie. "Ma'am, is this your boyfriend?" "Yes, sir." "Okay, and how old are you?" "Sir, I'm 23. This was my favorite part because the officer looked up from his notepad and said, "Wait, what?" Obviously, he was thinking Ellie was a minor or something based off of how Entitled Mother was acting, but quickly realized just what he was dealing with. Eventually, he turns to me and says, "Okay, sir, please give me your version of what happened." I did so. Funny side note, at one point, police officer looks up at me and says, "You look really familiar. Do I know you?" It actually turned out the police officer and I had gone to high school together. Once we recognized each other, we laughed and shook hands, and very briefly. This was hilarious because out of the corner of my eye, I see Entitled Mother has a big scowl on her face as she sees me getting friendly with police officer. But anyway, police officer puts his notepad away and turns to me. Just FYI, he says the following with this heavy tone of, "I know that you're fully aware of this and don't believe you're in the wrong at all, but I have to say this as a formality. Well, OP, she doesn't want you on the property, so be aware that if you come back here, you technically can be charged with trespassing. Do you understand this as I've explained it?" "Absolutely, sir. But sir, I want to press charges." "He didn't do anything illegal, ma'am, but he verbally assaulted me." "I understand that, and while that was ill-advised, He slightly turns to me and gives me a small gesture with his hand, and I nod in agreement. It's not something I could arrest him for. He agrees he will not come back to your property without your direct permission. Ugh, okay, fine, whatever. Ellie, come back inside. What? No. You heard the police officer. OP is leaving and you're staying here. Whoa, ma'am, I didn't say that at all. But, your daughter is not a child, ma'am. She's a full-grown adult. She has every right to go wherever she wants. I'm her mother. She lives under my roof. I told her she needs to stay here, so she needs to stay. No, ma'am, that's not how it works. If she wants to go stay with her boyfriend, there is absolutely nothing you can do to stop her. Entitled mother starts the fake crocodile tears and stomps in the house in defeat. Ellie and I thanked the officer, got in the car, and left. We've been living together ever since. Happy ending. Believe it or not, entitled mother isn't really much of an entitled mother anymore. Over the years since that day, entitled mother has actually decided to make an effort to try and improve herself. I guess she realized that if she didn't make changes, she would lose her relationship with Ellie. So entitled mother started taking advantage of her medical coverage and went to see her psychiatrist and got medicine for mental illness she actually had, as opposed to the ones she would make up, and since then, well, she's actually gotten way better. She takes her medicine regularly and has a boyfriend that is an extremely kind man and treats Ellie as though she were his own daughter. So basically, entitled mother really isn't an entitled mother anymore. We actually get along very well, and we see them frequently, and we help each other out whenever we can. We actually look back on the early years when she was in fact an entitled mother and laugh. So, not only is everybody getting along well, we can actually share the cringe stories and happily laugh about them. If you guys would like to hear some more, let me know. Alright guys, that's all for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to tell me what you thought about it down in the comments down below. If you're new to the channel, also don't forget to subscribe. It would really help out with my channel growth. And also, a huge shout out to my channel patrons and members. I just love you guys and thank you for supporting me on this journey. If you guys are new to the channel and you'd like to support me, links are down below for the Patreon, or you can click the join button next to subscribe if you'd like to become a channel member. Alright guys, that's all for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.